I'm Nicole, and welcome to this special episode. That was Birdie's tail. Welcome to this special episode of the Nicole Stitches Podcast. I'm a left-handed crocheter, knitter, and general crafter coming to you from Northern Virginia, where I work and live with my, by now, by the time you're seeing this, husband, our cat Webster, and our kitten Birdie. You can keep up with me on Instagram at Nicole SP Designs, on Ravelry as she writes things, on Pinterest at NSP Designs, and in my shop, nspdesigns.com, where I make and sell handmade project bags, notions pouches, and other fiber accessories, as well as original crochet designs. There's a Ravelry group for the podcast, and you can go there to find a Get to Know Us thread, where you can introduce yourself and get to know members of the group, and Ask Me Anything thread, where you can leave me questions to be answered in future videos, a monthly pattern giveaway thread where you can enter to win a pattern of your choice from the options given, and the chatter and finished objects threads for the NSP Comfy Crochet Cal, which is a casual crochet along that I am running this year. If you are watching this video and you're new to the channel, this is the first video of mine that you've seen, I must say this is not a normal episode of the podcast. I made reference to this a moment ago, but I am on my honeymoon, and you are seeing this because I am out of town. This is not live. This is not an up-to-date live recording of me and what I've been up to lately. This is me from the past, about a week before my wedding, recording stuff in advance. So if you are hoping for a normal podcast episode where I show you what I'm working on, what I've finished, I talk about my knitting, that kind of thing, check back into my old episodes. Those will be returning when I return, but right now I am on vacation, and so this is just something that I am making to go up in the interim, to give my pals who subscribe and who check out the channel something to watch and enjoy while I'm gone. You are of course welcome to stay and watch this video if you wish. Just know that it's not a standard podcast episode. For this video, I thought I'm obviously not going to have progress to update you on from the last episode that you saw, because I have no idea right now what will be finished, started, given up on while I'm away, but I do know my upcoming plans. So this video is going to be about what's next for me in terms of my knitting and my crochet and my general stitching stuff. So I have this video kind of split up into categories, and those categories would be for me, gift knits, baby knits, relax, and crochet. I'm going to just hop right into these things. I have mentioned a little bit here and there that for the remainder of this year, I set myself a very specific list that I wanted to work from to avoid overwhelming myself and to avoid temptation. And basically, I decided that I could only pick knits to cast on that were from that list, and I could only cast on something new when I finished something else. So these things are from that list with a couple, I'm trying to find my pen here so I can cross things off as I go. These projects are from that list with a couple of amendments to account for moving finished things off the list and bumping things up. Basically like my Ravelry queue, except I don't do a good job at all of keeping my Ravelry queue accurate in terms of what I actually plan to work on next. My queue is not really in order. It's more like a list of things I want to get to eventually, and it's just one big, just big pit of patterns that I want to work on. I don't do a good job of actually saying this one and then this one and then this one, if that makes sense. But this little list, I just made it in a notes app on my phone, and I keep it there. I try to keep it limited to what's on there. And as I finish something, I take it off and I let myself replace it proportionally. So if one thing goes off, one thing goes on. So this section is the For Me section, and these are the things that are kind of coming up for me. So I'm gonna go in order. I have these patterns grouped together by topic, like for me, gift knits, etc. But I'm not necessarily going to knit them in this order. I might knit one thing for me and two gift knits all at the same time. I don't really know what my plan is for that yet, other than gift knits generally have obvious deadlines. But so does one of these knits for myself. So I'm just gonna shut up and start telling you now what I'm talking about. First up in the For Me segment is the Yule Gran. I think it's called, sweater. This is a pattern by Andy Satterland. You may know her. She is, I think, relatively well known. Her sweater designs seem to be quite popular. Her designs, her tastes and silhouettes tend to have kind of a vintage cut to them, a vintage vibe or style, and this is no exception. This definitely kind of gives me mid-century slash Mad Men slash Sabrina the Teenage Witch, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the new show vibes. This is a holiday sweater with a tree down the front, which I think is so pretty. I have wanted to work on this for quite a while. I did not have the wherewithal to make it last year, but this year I really want to create this in time for the holidays. My family celebrates Christmas, so that's what I'm hoping to wear this for. I already have the yarn for this. I am going to be making this in, wait for it, brace yourself, Knit Picks Swish. This is a worsted weight sweater pattern, and I will put information about it. I'm sure that by now I will have put up a picture of the sweater so you can see what I'm talking about, but I will also add the bust information here. I like to include that so that people can know the size range that's available and if it is size inclusive for them. I don't know offhand if the Yule Grand is size inclusive, sufficiently size inclusive, so if it is not, I do apologize about that. Hopefully we can convince our designers to broaden their size range, but I am going to be knitting this sweater. This is not going to be something that I cast on quite yet, but it'll probably be one of the first things that I cast on when we get back from traveling. So I will be making this in Knit Picks Swish worsted, like I said, in white. I think that will be very pretty. And then my decision that I'm trying to come to a decision on this. I'm tempted to add beads to the tree. Some people I have seen will do this. They'll add beads or sequins to the tree to make it kind of sparkly, and I think that would be a fun kind of kitschy touch. Just some little seed beads, maybe a little cluster on each one. I also very briefly entertained the idea of jingle bells. Well, that is absolutely something that I would definitely do. I'm a little worried about the bells snagging the sweater itself and causing pulls, which I don't want. So I think I'm going to set that idea aside, but the beads are tempting. I don't think that I would try to knit the beads on. I know that is a technique that is commonly used, but I think that what I would do is add them after the fact, just get some white floss or thread and stitch them on by hand, both for my own convenience, quite frankly, while knitting, and also so that I can know that they are very, very secure. And if I ever have an issue where a bead breaks or the string breaks that holds them or something like that, my whole sweater is not in jeopardy. It's just that one area and it's isolated. So that is that project. Next up, the Levantry shawl is one that I have wanted to make for quite a while, and I have a few options in my stash of yarn pairings that would work with this. This is a 2-color fingering weight shawl. I think this is really beautiful. I am a big fan of stripes. I love stripes. I get so excited about wearing stripes, and this is just going to work right into my repertoire, my stripe repertoire, if you will. Please don't unsubscribe because I said that. But yes, I just really love this, and again, I have a few color combination options that I could make from what's already in my stash, but I don't know what it's going to be yet. I don't have my yarn picked out. I don't know if I'm going to end up picking up some yarn somewhere that I'm going to want to use. I don't know, but I do know that I need this, and I want to cast it on pretty soon. Generally, if you've been here, you probably know my standard number of projects that I like to keep on the go is I like to have a sweater and a shawl on the go, kind of one big and one small project. So this might get cast on at the same time as or shortly after the Yule Grand sweater. We'll see. Next is the Bravura sweater. I showed this recently in a new in my Q segment, and this is a really, really fun colorwork sweater. I believe it's a DK sweater. It might be worsted, but I love this. I think it's a great twist on colorwork. We know I love a colorwork knit sweater, but I love the kind of really graphic twist on this with the zigzags and the squares. It's so cool, and I think that mine is probably going to go the obnoxious route and be a stash buster of all these scrappy little half skeins and tiny little rolled up balls of bits and bobs of leftover, probably swish yarn that I have in my stash from all my various projects. It's going to be loud and colorful and bright, and I think that I need one of those sweaters in my wardrobe, so that is perfect for me. That may well be the sweater that I cast on once my Yule Grain is done. I just think this looks like it would be so much fun to knit. I'm loving seeing all the people knitting it right now. I think it's very popular at the moment, and I'm loving all the color combinations and stuff. It's very inspiring, and I'm excited about this one. Sweaters, I have 3 more left that I have coming up sooner rather than later on my queue here. First is the In the Tweeds sweater. This is by Tiff Nealon. She's one of my new favorite designers, and she's putting out new patterns like left and right. She is just so full of creativity and beautiful designs, and she makes amazing color choices, and I'm such a fan. I'm basically, anytime she puts out a new pattern, it's an automatic purchase for me. It goes right in my cart and I grab it, both because I love to support designers in that way. Even if you don't think you can knit the pattern immediately, if you are in a situation where you're able to buy their pattern when it's released, it's hugely helpful to them in terms of gaining traction on Ravelry, gaining followers, gaining reach, and just being able to continue designing. So for her, not only are they patterns that I genuinely love and want to knit, but I try to grab them right away so that she gets that support and can just keep growing and keep putting out these amazing patterns. But to the one at hand, the In the Tweeds sweater, I just really enjoy it. It looks so comfortable, and it's one of those designs that looks like it would look really nice, both really fitted and close to the body, and if you went oversized, it also looks like it would be really comfortable and cute. Next is the Spellman sweater. This one is by Dragon Horde Yarn, also known as Tristan, who's a very sweet gal I'm very lucky to be friends with. We chat on Instagram every now and again. She's got a bunch of designs out there that are really great. I have quite a few of them, and I just love the sweater. I love the classic shape. I love that it's so simple except for the lines of details down the sleeve, and this one was inspired by the name Spellman, you might know. This was inspired by, again, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which is the newest version of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That's a Netflix series. I'm a big fan of the show. I think they're doing a great job. It's really fun, and I just love that sweater. I think a lot of us who watch the show are really in love with the knits that they're featuring on there. I am no exception. I really love them, and the idea that I can knit a sweater inspired by them that even kind of approximates what they look like is really exciting to me. So I'm thinking of doing this in either like an off-white or maybe a red. I haven't decided yet, but it's a beautiful sweater and I need it. So it does have bobbles, which give me a little bit of pause. If you are someone who's been watching my videos, you may remember my Minaret sweater, which is a crop top by Christina Dene. That is supposed to have bobbles, and I did a very bad job with them. So I don't know if my issue was the way that the pattern instructed you to make the bobbles, or if it was just with my technique and I need to sub in my own bobble technique that's different. I don't know. But hopefully these bobbles are something that I can manage and they will turn out just a little bit better. Finally, I have the Love Note sweater, and this is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. I'm a big fan of their patterns. They are amazing about size inclusivity. I'm pretty sure that every sweater, if not most sweaters that they release are size inclusive from newborns all the way to well into adult sizes. They do an amazing job with that, so you are almost guaranteed to find a sweater that will work for you or for the person you're knitting for in terms of size, which is absolutely awesome. And they have great variety. They do amazing colorwork sweaters. They created the Strange Brew book, which is basically like a cookbook for your own colorwork sweater. There are also their colorwork patterns in there, but they tell you how you can design your own, and they give you motifs and they tell you all the math. I have the book. I have not delved far into it yet, but that is on my radar. But the Love Note is not a colorwork sweater. It just has a really fun, simple yoke of lace around the chest, and that is something that I may be casting on very soon. That actually might be what I cast on when I finish the sweater I'm currently knitting, which is the Tuminako pullover by Aroha Knits. I'm on the second sleeve, so I'm due to be done quite shortly, and I might be casting on the Love Note for my next sweater. No promises, not totally sure, but it is highly, highly likely. Okay, the next segment that I have for you is the gift knits segment. I've made mention of this in other videos, but if you don't know, I am hoping to knit some of my holiday gifts this year. Like, my family celebrates Christmas, so that's the holiday that we exchange gifts for, and I'm hoping that my Christmas gifts for a few people this year can be hand knits. Right now I'm working, I just started a pair of Brave at Heart mittens, which is a pattern by Diana Walla. I'll pop a picture in here. These are Harry Potter themed, more specifically Gryffindor themed mitts, and these are for one of my best friends, Kelsey, one of my best friends and now my sister-in-law by the time you see this video. She is Adam's sister. I have already cast on the first mitt for that, so I'm hoping to gift those to her this year. She released a set of mitts, a pattern like this for all 4 of the Harry Potter Hogwarts houses. She released them individually on Ravelry, or you can get the ebook that has all 4 of them in it together. I grabbed the ebook. I went ahead and did that because I can see myself, unless this pattern is like terribly difficult or something, which I don't totally anticipate it being, I can see myself knitting more than one of these. So I have a very, very treasured dear friend who is a Hufflepuff, and I would love to knit her the Hufflepuff themed mitts. I'm not sure off the top of my head what the name of the Hufflepuff mitts are. I will put it on screen here. I'll look it up. But I can see myself knitting those for her. I'm a Ravenclaw, so there's possibility that if I'm looking to make myself a pair of Potter mitts one day, that I will make that for myself, that kind of thing. But I just think that these are gorgeous and kind of a way to, they look very sophisticated and kind of grown up, and I think it's maybe kind of like a grown up way to show that you're a Harry Potter fan. I think they're just very cool and they're gorgeous. Next up are speaking of mitts, the Garden of Shadows mitts, and these again are a pattern released by Tristan of Dragon Horde Yarn. She released these, I believe, last year, if not the year, I think it was last year, and these are just fun and really beautiful textural mitts, and I think I might be knitting these up in a very vibrant cobalt royal blue. I have some Knit Picks palette yarn, which is a fingering weight yarn that's very, very affordable from Knit Picks, and it comes in like 300 colors. I have some of that in my stash in a very, very vibrant blue. I think the color is called Celestial, but that I think might be what happens here. We'll see. Next up are the Taniko Colorwork Cowls. These are by Aroha Knits. I talked about these on a recent normal episode of the podcast. These are Colorwork Cowls, and you actually get 5, I believe. It might only be 4, but I think it's 5. You get 5 cowl patterns for the price of 1 because she includes 5, possibly 4, colorwork motifs that you can work into the pattern. They are each named after a different Maori word, and she explains to you what those words mean and what they represent and the symbolism in the colorwork pattern, which is very, very cool and amazing to get to kind of pay homage to the Maori culture in that way. And they're just, I mean, they're just gorgeous. So you not only get a beautiful set of colorwork patterns, but you also get to learn something. And the final piece that I have in this segment is the Frankly My Dear pattern. This is a pattern by Maxim Sear, I think. And normally this would be a colorwork pattern, but to be honest, I do not plan to do the colorwork on this. I want to make this sweater for Adam, and we just really like the shape of the sweater with the kind of stand-up collar with a little split at the front, but Adam is not one for having cutesy alpacas on his sweaters. Nothing against them. I think they're really fun and adorable, but it's just not Adam's style, which is fine. So I am going to be making him this sweater in Knit Pick Swish, I know, in the color Garnet Heather, which I have knit a sweater for myself in before. I'm not using that color again with the intent that we will be matchy-matchy. It just so happens that both of us, our favorite color is red, and that is a beautiful red. And it's an accessible yarn that I love working with. So that will be happening soon. Not totally positive that I will get it done for him by Christmas, but I kind of hope that I can. We'll see.